But I want to say...
Summoned to set the record straight before the Security and Administration Committee of the National Assembly, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiangi, Inspector General of Police Joseph Boinnet, and Immigration Principal Secretary Kihalangwa promptly appeared in Parliament. The court had issued summons to appear for the three more than 5 times since the Miguna circus began. None was honored.
There is a court order that convicts the 3 of you of contempt of court. And within public regulations, it is very clear that if an officer is convicted by a court of order, or by a court of law, of any crime, they are supposed to step aside, they are supposed to be addicted, but you guys are still serving.
He says, let them come, but I will not hear them. What does that mean? Where do you want us? You want us for humiliation parade, so that you can drag us by the collar through the street of public opinion. It's not an interest to resolve issues. How can you be condemned and hard? As I told you, this is not a story. Somebody should show me, this is the affidavit of service that shows that you were served a court order. This is what's happening. There is an evil clique.
Matiang'i calls them the evil clique. He says the judiciary is made up of some bad elements. He adds that these elements collude with activist lawyers. He accuses them of working in cahoots with the civil society to frustrate the government. In Miguna's case, Matiang'i says he never got a single order requiring them to appear in court.
One civil society activist in Kenya has obtained nearly 30 court orders, ex parte, 30 court orders, ex parte, from the court. He walks in, he gets an order, comes out. He walks in, he gets an order, comes out. In fact, he could even walk in today and say he wants an order so that all cabinet secretaries commit suicide. You'll get the order. He walks in, gets an order, comes out. What does that say about our judicial system?
More than 9 orders were issued in favor of the applicant to have him either produced in court or be unconditionally released. The court also ordered that he be reissued with a Kenyan passport. While at the airport, the court also ordered that he be freed and allowed into the country. None of these orders were complied with.
When Justice Roslyn Abrili received this application that your guy is held at the airport, was the world going to come to an end if she said, serve the Director of Immigration and come before me tomorrow? Was the world going to come to an end? Because that way, the Director of Immigration would have explained what was going on.
But the disobedience of the orders did not begin last week on Monday when Miguna attempted to re-enter the country. Before his deportation, 3 orders were issued by Justice Kimaru. None of them was complied with. In fact, the government went ahead and deported Miguna. After failing to adhere to court directives, the court responded by declining to listen to the government side.
This is not about the judiciary. It is about a clique of judicial officers who have gotten into an unholy relationship with a clique of activist lawyers and oppositionist civil society people, with the intention of humiliating the government, stalling the government, embarrassing the government, and making it impossible for the government to perform.
At the inquest, most members of the Administration and National Security Committee, including the chairman, seemed to side and sympathize with the Cabinet Secretary and his team during his submissions. Many statements by the CS were unchallenged, and at one time, it seemed the Cabinet Secretary was allowed latitude to address the committee instead of answering the questions, some of which he evaded.
You make final orders, and when the Attorney General comes before you, you say you don't want to hear the Attorney General. When the Attorney General begs and says the Minister and the Inspector General are at the GSU parade, you say the GSU parade is not that important. When you say they have not been served, you say, I have been on TV the whole morning. I was expected to be watching TV at the GSU parade so that I know what has happened.
At the end of it all, Matiang'i told the committee that he had registered complaints against the clique of judges who he says are about 5 to the Judicial Service Commission, their employer. But in a twist, a Wajir businessman has petitioned Parliament to begin the process of removing Matiang'i. Mahmoud Sheikh accuses the Cabinet Secretary of violating the Constitution and ignoring court orders. He wants Matiang'i to be found unsuitable to hold public office. Last week, the High Court found the 3 who appeared today before the parliamentary committee in contempt and fined them 200,000 shillings each, and also found them in violation of the Constitution. Ken Mijungu, NTV.